Yeah, I stayed just in
circle,
your basement.
circle the block, and
I was in your basement.
yeah,
squatting.
Well, there's hopefully you killed some of those camelback crickets. Or as we call them, camel toe crickets.
That's what bit me.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a lawsuit
You'll
pending.
turn into one slowly. That'll be
Like Jeff Goldblum.
you'll get some. It's quite a vertical you'll have. Let me tell you. But you'll jump at people instead of away for some reason. I hate those freaking things.
That works. No, E.T. was on. This is so random, but
Yeah.
E.T. was on last night, and I was like, you know what? That's a movie I haven't seen in a long time.
I can't remember the last.
And I
one
recorded it just because I was busy
Yeah.
doing something else. And now you made me think of The Fly with Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum. I'm like,
see?
that's a really good movie.
You're
I
gonna
need to watch it.
It's a whole weekend there you're going to waste. So Doggiepalooza is coming up.
Yeah.
It's a good
and
name.
Of all the times that I've been on here, we've never talked about cars.
It is,
Or not
yeah.
really, I don't think.
Not really. I don't think
It's
so.
always
we
restaurants
kind of briefly
and-
talked
yeah.
about it, I think, the first time you were on.
Yeah, here and there.
But
yeah, Doggiepalooza, basically, I don't even know where to start because there's just so much to go over. Well, what I do every day, because people ask me that, they're like, what exactly do you do? Because I see you with food and
you
I
get
see
that
you
too.
with this and that. And it's like, as little as
What's
possible.
your real job?
Yeah, as little as possible is what I do.
Yeah.
No, I guess I describe it. I own a boutique auto dealership here in town,
Mm-hmm.
and I just deal in kind of rare, specialized, exotic. I mean, just anything really. We deal in American stuff, Corvettes and Vipers and whatnot. But I kind of like sports cars and luxury cars and kind of rare things. There's so many people doing Jeeps and trucks and whatever
Sure,
else that I don't even mess with it. I like to do my own thing, but I like to specialize in really low mileage, really low mileage cars too. So I've just got this little niche, and I do what I like and kind of stay away from everybody else.
How hard is it to find those kind of cars?
You'd think it would be difficult,
Yeah.
and it's not like there's 15 every day to choose from, but there's a lot of people out there that don't drive their cars. I mean, and that's one of the things that happens. There was about 2 years ago, Toyota Tundras, of all things, were mass flooding across the border to Canada.
Okay.
Because people up there loved them. They could not get them. The ones they had were rusting away and, whatever.
Sure.
And it happens in Europe too. There's a lot of Porsche 911s and just, a lot of other stuff that goes over to Switzerland and Germany and wherever, because the people that live in Europe actually drive their cars. So if you have a Porsche 911, you drive it in the snow, you drive it in the rain, whatever.
Right.
A lot of people in America, if they have, they have a car like that, it's their third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th car,
Right.
and it never gets used. Mm-hmm. So it's just people in Europe, they want a low mile 911. Well, they buy one, 15 years old from America that's got 20,000 miles on it.
Sure.
And then they turn into a daily driver. But basically my 20th anniversary of my dealership is September 8th, I think. Actually, is today the 8th?
6th, I believe.
It's the 6th. It's in a couple of days.
So you're pretty close.
Yeah. And it takes a village. This is their 2017 is their 5th year of being a corporation, being in
entity.
business. Yeah. And not really business, but of existence. So my 20th anniversary, their 5th. And since I do a lot of volunteer stuff for them, or try to, they said, hey, we're going to do our fundraiser, 3rd annual Doggiepalooza. And I said, let's do it at my place because this is my 20th. So we'll just do an open house, fundraiser, car show, because I've just got my new location too. We moved earlier this year, sold the place on Royal. So I've got my new place on Congress. And I said, hey, I'll get my customers to come check the new place out. We'll do, a bunch of different stuff, car show, food trucks. I'm kind of incorporating everything that I like. I've got dogs and food and cars. Yeah, I'm just bringing it all to my parking lot, basically. But I'm going to do an exotic car display, car show with trophies. I've got one of my guys that does paintless dent removal for me. He's actually going to be on hand. So even guys that have their cars in the show, if their wife has an SUV or whatever with a dent in the door, they can bring it by and he'll actually work on it that day. We're going to do live music. We've got 3 bands. We can go over all this later, but I'm just going to run through it real quick. Food trucks, beer garden, vendors, silent auction items. It Takes a Village is going to have adoptable dogs, and we're going to have some children's activities and stuff like that. So basically, we just decided to incorporate their fundraiser and my open house with each other, and that's what we came up with.
So will you be able to guarantee that one of the It Takes a Village dogs pees on Claire Ballard?
Oh my gosh. I was standing right in front of her when that happened. So yeah, I would like to see that again. Actually, it wasn't recorded anywhere, so I could just watch it over and over. Right, but actually, yeah, man, we could do. Oh my God! See, I just got this great idea, and I'm gonna have to give you credit for it. We could have people.
If we get some people in trouble, I don't want.
No. See, what we do is you pay. Whatever or let's say we buy a bottle of water. Claire's gonna kill me. You buy a bottle of water at this event, and we have a certain dog, and and Claire has to hold it. She holds the dog and pets it, and whatever, and we just give it water until it pees on it. And whoever gave the dog the last bit of water will win like a prize, like a half pot or something like that.
There you go.
And then Claire has to sign. She can sign one of her headshots. So when she gets more famous than she is, it'll,
infamous.
Yeah, it'll be on eBay.
You can have that. I don't need credit for that one.
But maybe we could tweak it a little bit. But I think the big thing is to get Claire to agree to that. So
yeah, that's a tough one.
When she hears this, you got my number. You can Facebook me, whatever, Claire. I know you're interested in this. So
there you go. Yes, it's for the dogs.
Yeah, it's for the dogs. But yeah, actually, she was right in front of me when that happened. So.
Yeah, that was not great timing because I know she was wearing one of Emily Gardner's.
Like fancy, a brand new shirt.
Brand new shirt. And it's like, oh no, that's not great timing.
Yeah, that happens.
But hey, dogs, they're awesome. But yeah, so where does this? One of the questions I had for you is, where does this? There's a love for dogs, right? I mean, you said you at least you like them. Where does this come from? Because, it seems odd sometimes. Whenever like you have a certain way people think about you, and you know this.
Oh yeah.
Then there you throw this dog thing in, and it's a swerve. Like people are like, wait a minute. He's human? No.
People think I'm an asshole. Well, see, here's part of my problem, and I get this from my grandfather.
Okay.
Because there's like a couple of interesting points you brought up. I'm a Scorpio, and I don't. Some people are like, yeah, that didn't mean anything, and other people are like, oh my God, yeah, that explains all of it. But I'm just really, I'm really honest. Is how I like to describe it. And I guess I don't have a filter. Yeah. And my grandfather is the exact same way, is that he'll have a really good point or something that is really, and see, I was raised by my grandparents, and that's going to come into where the dog thing comes in. But he has great ideas, and he's really sort of ahead of his time with a lot of things that he comes up with, but he's not very good at phrasing things that not even politically correct, but he's just not good at phrasing things to where it's socially acceptable.
Gotcha.
A lot of times.
I get it. Yeah. Right.
And I'm kind of that way too, where, and I just had this conversation with actually somebody at ITV today, and I've had it with, I'm HOA president of my neighborhood too, because I obviously have too much free time.
You want to be in control of everything. We get it. We get it.
And well, no, there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and I see it, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
We'll see.
So, I'm like, I'm probably not the nicest person. I'm definitely not politically correct. But I get stuff done, and to me, that's the most important thing. I'm not trying to like make a bunch of friends, and I'm not saying I go around just being rude to everybody, but I've had my moments, I'm sure. And I guess the way that I say things sometimes isn't, I could think through before I speak sometimes, and I actually have been working on that. But no, it's just I'm one of those people where I like to be busy, and I like to be involved in a lot of things, and I do a lot of things for myself in my life.
Sure, yeah.
And I sort of feel like maybe, maybe I should just spread this around a little bit, and and when I was younger especially, but no, I've always liked to help people and be involved in causes, and there's a lot of stuff that I've done in the past that nobody knows about. I mean, not even my family knows about unless I mention it to them, but I don't do it for recognition or anything like that at all. It's just one of those things that, I like to be involved in a good cause, and I've got I had a conversation with somebody in my office literally this morning about this, but, I said, I like to be involved in things that don't even make sense necessarily. Cause I'll be involved with the local food bank, and then I'll get involved with dogs, and then I'll get involved, I've got political views and opinions and whatnot, but, it just kind of what hits me, at the time. And I've got, I think animals they're defenseless, they're voiceless. My mother, my great-grandmother, and my grandmother always had cats. I don't ever remember not having a dog. anywhere that we lived. We lived in Henderson for a while, and then our farms in Corden, Kentucky, and I have always had a dog. Ever since I can remember, there's been a dog around. So I've just got a soft spot for animals and dogs and whatnot. And over the years, we've done stuff with different humane rescues and humane societies and whatnot. And my mom lives in Louisville, and she was 2 years ago, I think, in Louisville. She was Volunteer of the Year up there with the animal rescues, and now she runs a food bank. Okay. And basically, she distributes food to rescues and shelters, not to individuals, but just rescues and shelters in bulk. And I think last year she distributed like 1.9 or 1.8 million pounds of food. Jeez. And so that's one of the things that I do for ITV is I'll go and get dog food, with my truck. And basically, we always tell people, don't bring us food to the rescue, because we don't, other rescues might need it, but we don't, because and this is open too. If you know somebody that works at a rescue, runs a rescue, this is open to everybody. This is not just something that's special for ITV or anything else. Anybody can sign up for this. If you have cats, if you have dogs, whatever it is. In Louisville, it's the Greater Good Rescue Bank is what it's called. Okay. And basically you just sign up and you say, hey, we've got 50 dogs on average and 10 cats, and we need this and we need that. And so if you went to Rural King, Walmart, Tractor Supply, whatever, and you bought dog food, you would pay roughly 60 cents a pound. And so we get these, Purina and all these other companies that will donate food. Okay. And my mother sells it for 10 cents a pound. So if somebody donates $100, ITV or any of these other rescues, because I think Paws here in town might also get food from that food bank. Okay. They can get 6 times as much food with the same $100 as you buying it and taking it to them. Right. So cash is the deal. If you want to help them get food, cash is the way to go. And I'll literally go and get, because I've got a big truck, I'll go and get between 4,000 and 7,000 pounds of food at a time. I can put 4 pallets in my truck, so I bring back a ton of food. Yeah. And then I've got pallet shelving at my office, and I just take it off my truck, with my fork truck, and put it on the shelves. And when ITV needs it, I take one over to them. So it works out really well, because it's kind of interesting, because at the last meeting, I can't talk any numbers, but they voted me on their board of directors. So at the last meeting, I saw 2016 numbers, and I could tell when I started picking food up from them, because their food costs literally dropped about 75%. Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous to look at the number from January, February, March, and then when I started getting food, their food cost just went way down. Right. And I would encourage any of the local rescues or shelters, get signed up on this. It's free. There's nothing, that you've got to do for it. You pay through PayPal and you go pick it up. It's really easy, but you will cut your costs quite a bit just on food. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they get flea medicine, and I know that there's some Kong, those ball toys that you can put peanut butter or whatever in, and the dogs play with them. We're going to get some of those for free. And she's going to have a ton of them. She's going to have, I think she said 3,000. The company's donating 3,000 of these to her rescue bank. So everybody can go and get 100 of them or 200 or whatever. But I would encourage any of the rescues to take advantage of it, because it's a great deal, and you do have to drive to Louisville, to pick it up. But I use that as an excuse to go to the restaurants and go to Whole Foods and go do whatever. So yeah. Huh. But no, to get back to your initial question, I think everybody that has the opportunity or the ability should do something. I mean, if you have a passion about animals, or if you have a passion about homeless vets, or just whatever it is, get involved. I mean, and help your community and help society in general.
Well, there's plenty of nonprofit opportunity in Evansville. That's
gosh, yeah. There's all kind of stuff. I mean, just being in business, I get I get stuff all the time, requests and whatnot. But no, I just I want to be a good person, and I want to be a positive force in my community, and like I said, try to do something for somebody else besides myself.
So take that, everyone. No. Okay, well, so this is on the Doggiepalooza. It's the 16th. It's a Saturday.
Yes.
And it's during the day.
Yes.
10 to 5, it looks like.
10 to, we're probably going to go a little bit later, because we were trying to work out logistics, and we've got bands. So I'm going to go through some of my list here.
Better be good bands, or I'm not showing up.
No, they're going to be really good bands. And so the Soul Crackers are playing later in the afternoon.
I don't think I know them.
Oh my gosh, yes you do. Tommy Stillwell and John Rockner, Big John Rockner.
Okay,
he's got Space Ghost Zorak on his bass guitar. So
I think I would remember that.
That's kind of his deal. But no, they played at the Deerhead until last year. They played every Sunday night, except when it would fall on Christmas for 16 years. At the Deerhead Tavern. So back when you could smoke, I'd go smoke cigars and drink beer with my buddies and eat pizza and listen to blues. But
that's some dedication right there. 16 years, man.
Yep, every Sunday. So DK Wells is going to be playing from 10 to 12:15, and then we've got Acacia from 12:30 to 2:45. Okay. Then we're going to have car show awards after that, and the Amazing Soul Crackers, which are blues. Stevie Ray Vaughan is Tommy Stillwell's long lost brother, I think, an idol. Animal. So yeah, but they're going to be 3:30 to 5:30. But all these guys are really, really good, and it's just a little bit different kind of music. Yeah. But yeah, right. And then there's going to be food trucks. It Takes a Village is going to have their food truck there. Lolly's Pops, which are amazing. Yes, they're going to be there, and I don't even know. I mean, if you have other questions, we'll just go through a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, maybe talk about the car show part of it. This would be people traveling from outside the area, I assume, showing off the cars? Or is this more local people? Or
it's going to be a little bit of both, honestly, because I've got people from Carmi that said they're going to, come. And and what I'm trying to do is my previous customers, if I haven't seen them in a while, I want them to come by and check the new shop out. Customers that, I talk to all the time know about it. But basically, I just want to get the dog people from ITV together and my customers that like cars and, maybe people that are into, food that just want to come by and see what's going on with the rest of the event and just support me and support ITV and all that. I'm just trying to get everybody together, but there's going to be a little bit of, for everybody. Like I said, there's going to be kids games and live music, beer garden, food trucks, car shows. But yeah, people will be, it'll be a lot of local stuff. But I'm inviting all the car clubs. Okay. Because a lot of times when you go to a car show, if you're not into cars, you probably haven't been around too many of them, but there'll be like a top 10 or top 50, and what I'm trying to do is I want to get the clubs out, like the Mustang Club and there's a Toyota Tundra truck club in town that I didn't know about until this past weekend. There's a Mustang Club, a Corvette Club, all that, Porsche Club. So I want to get the clubs to come out, and there's actually a club participation trophy. So instead of doing top 50, I'm doing top 5 for trophies, but then there's specific categories. Okay. For specific cars. And we've got like the best British car, the best Corvette, the best European, Asian import. There's a big Jeep, market here in Evansville. And there's a club, the Evansville Jeepers. So we've got Jeep, we've got Modern Muscle, Mopar, Mustang, best Porsche, best truck. And then we've got some other stuff like, It Takes a Village top pick, and there's a People's Choice and my top pick and stuff. So yeah, it'll just be stuff from all over, and we'll have some exotic stuff there and some normal, whatever. But I went down to the Franklin Street, that rod show. Yeah. And the weird thing, there was a ton of people from Illinois and St. Louis. And I was like, is there like a huge rod, community and, street rod and rat rods and stuff like that? I was like, because there weren't a whole lot of local cars, and there was some really cool stuff that I hadn't seen, which I like that. I mean, a lot of times if you go to William Corey's a policeman here in town, and he does cars and coffee. Okay. And it's a really cool laid back event. We do it at the Donut Bank on Green River Road, the first Sunday of every month, year round, even in December. But you see a lot of the same things, and there's nothing wrong with that because you're always bringing new people in. But I like to see stuff I've never seen. And, that's one of the things that I've told people with this show is I'm going to do kind of an exotic car display, and I'm going to get some cars from clients that I've sold to them and just stuff that nobody sees. It's not on the street parked. It's not driven. It's, it's stuff that nobody has really probably seen before. So, but yeah, I hope we get cars from all over. I hope people coming from Louisville and Terre Haute and Indy, whatever. Right. So
yeah, I was always surprised with every year, and when we lived in Newburgh, I'd always see the British car show.
Sir Britt. Yeah,
I never knew it was going on. I just happened upon it. It seemed like every year, and it's like, what in the world?
No, and theirs is coming up in October.
It's probably soon. Yeah,
I think, or late September, maybe the 28th.
Yeah, so it's always around the fall.
But yeah, Cerberus. So there's a bunch of MGs and Triumph guys, and you'll see an occasional Rolls and Bentley and stuff like that. But yeah, they do it at the Lock and Dam in Newburgh. And and I used to be a member of the club, and I don't know what happened. I dropped out, got busy, life, whatever. But it's a cool club, a lot of neat guys there.
Yeah. So you get these cars in, and then it's interesting to me that there's a market around here for that kind of thing. Is it more local, or do you get other people outside the area contacting you?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Well, and see, that's one of the things that with my business that people don't really understand. They're like, so who do you sell to? I was like, I sell to everybody. I sell worldwide, literally.
That's what I figure. Because they'll find these people are probably super interested, and they'll track you down, kind of thing.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing is that there's, a lot of car dealers, they'll keep a ton of inventory, and if you come in and you want a white Chrysler 300 and they've got a black one, they're going to try to convince you to buy the black car, which that's just sales. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm more geared to people will come to me because I specifically have exactly what they're looking for, or I can find it. And they'll say, hey, I want this, this, and this, and it's got to have this mileage or less, and these options, and it's got to be this color. And I'll actually go find the car, even if it's in Seattle or Miami or whatever. But no, I ship stuff all over the world. We just sent a Triumph TR6 to California and a 70 Jag XKE to Sweden. And I've sold stuff in just about every state in the nation, including Alaska. There was a guy that bought another Triumph from me, and you can only, collectible cars, you can only drive about 3 months out of the year in Alaska. Okay. And this guy had an indoor movie theater, drive-in movie theater. Wow. I'm not kidding. He had in a big garage or whatever, and he would buy cars and put them indoors. Yeah. And his friends would come over and they sit in the cars inside with popcorn and whatever and watch movies. And then in the spring he drives them. Crazy. So I sold a car to a guy in Alaska that did that. I sold a Mercedes to a guy who lived next door to Paul McCartney in England, or lives next door to Paul McCartney in England still. And so, just random stuff, but I've sold stuff. I don't know that I've sold a car to Mexico yet. Yeah. I've got some local clients that are pretty regular, frequent flyers with me that'll buy 1, 2, 3 cars a year. Wow. I've got a good client in Chicago and, a couple of them locally that, I'll do business with at least once or twice a year. But a lot of what I do is out of state because that's the thing is I find such strange, off the wall things that it has to go out of town. There's just not, Evansville is not enough of a car community, and there are people that have really cool collections that nobody knows about. And there's people that own cars and they never drive them. And it's like, why do you not, you got a Ferrari, drive it to work.
Right, exactly.
Who cares? Take it to your office.
Growing up in Princeton, we lived close to somebody and he had a garage full of cars we'd always hear about, but we never saw them. But he would have all these he's like, oh, he's got all these exotic cars. I'm like, I don't believe you. Yeah, it's like I have no idea who that is or where it is. No, but that stuff's like there's a garage off of First Avenue. Yeah, and it's filled with a bunch of stuff from the 50s and 60s. Like over 30 cars, and this guy's in his 70s, and he just doesn't drive it. He just likes to have it, And there's some stuff like that around. Yeah. You'd be surprised of what people have, but sure.
It's just strange, but I always encourage people to drive. But and I was just in Detroit for the Woodward Dream Cruise. And, one of my buddies lives up there and he's got a dealership and it's like, he's got customers and 13 cars, and they drive them constantly. Somebody's driving their Lamborghini or Rolls Royce or whatever to work, or they've got a 1950, Pontiac that they drive. And I wish that would happen around here. I wish there were more car people and they actually took them out and enjoyed them and did stuff with them. But, there's just different cultures. Yeah. And Evansville's an old German, kind of conservative area. So even the people that that have a lot of money, they don't want anybody to know that they do, which sometimes doesn't make sense because there's a couple of people that have nice houses, here in Evansville, normal, not too outrageous. They drive a normal car and they've got an $8 million house in Florida with exotic cars and all, and it's like, okay, well, it's like people know you have money. You just, I guess, don't show it in Evansville, but it's kind of interesting to
modest
see.
Midwestern life, I guess.
Yeah. But no, that's, there is a car scene here and I try to get in touch with everybody and, like I said, get people together and say, hey, come out to Cars and Coffee, come out to this show. Let's get together and go on a drive to Huber Winery and, you know, whatever. And there's some clubs too. Like I said, there's a Mercedes club in Louisville, and they went to Fort Knox one time. It was actually really cool.
Oh, wow.
I went on that trip with them, and there's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of wineries around and a lot of different restaurants and just sites, you know, so that you can get involved
cruising around in your Aston Martin,
especially in the fall. Yeah. No, people,
whatever,
and you can have a Mustang. You can have a Miata. There's a Miata club.
Yeah.
And these guys are crazy. They go to SCCA races and autocrosses and parking lots and whatnot. And they have a great time with them. And you don't have to spend, you can get a $3,000 little Miata and have all kind of fun with it. So it doesn't have to be super expensive stuff. It's just, that's the thing is that I like that stuff. And when I got into cars, I started with Corvettes. That's kind of what I was into first. And then it kind of evolved into Porsche and then a lot of other stuff. But that's just the stuff that I like. But I mean, I can appreciate, you know, just like I said, there's some rat rods down at this show and some old trucks from the 40s and 50s. And I was like, that's just really cool.
Right, yeah.
But the new thing right now is patina. So if your truck has rust or whatever on it, a lot of these guys will clear coat over it and leave it. Or they paint it specifically to look like it's rusty or, you know, whatever. And that's the thing is they get the mechanicals 100%. So it's drivable and reliable, but the body looks like somebody set it on fire or it's been at the bottom of a lake for 2 years or whatever. But that's the new thing.
That's the thing.
It sounds weird, but there was a bunch of, and I've got some pictures on, if you go to Buxton Motorsports, and I've got a car show page for Evansville too, but there's a photo album of some of the cool stuff that I saw down in Franklin this past weekend. And they got some neat stuff. And I can appreciate anything. I like boats. I like helicopters. I like motorcycles. I mean, you know, anything that kind of moves, goes fast. I've had fun driving bulldozers. I mean, just, you know, like I said, I grew up on a farm. So that's how I learned to drive is tractors and combines and whatever. So I like it. I like all of it. If it rolls or floats or moves in some way.
So you get these cars for other people. Is there ever ones that you find you're like, I think I'd like to just keep that?
Yeah, and I do. I mean, that's, you know, and I've never found something for somebody else. And I'm like, I'm not going to sell this to you, but I'm like, I got to get one of those. Okay. But yeah, it's, you know, there's stuff that I've had in the past that I've had the opportunity to buy back, and I either did or really considered it, and I should have, because I had one of my favorite cars I've ever had was I had a silver 79 Porsche Turbo. 911 Turbo with red interior, just really cool. And it had, I don't even know when I sold it. I sold it years ago, probably 20 years ago, because I had it in my early 20s. And when I sold it, it had 29,000 original miles on it. And the gentleman in Detroit, actually, I sold it to a guy in Michigan, had it for 10 years. And he put 10,000 miles on it. And I had the opportunity to buy it about 2 years ago with 39,000 original miles on a 79. And my buddy offered it to me for 50. And about 2 months after that, the Porsche Turbo market went insane. I mean, just the air-cooled market went insane. And that car probably was worth about $200,000. And I was like, I should have bought that back.
Yeah, you think?
And now they're getting a little bit more normal, but it's for sale again because the gentleman that bought it passed away, and I think he wants 140 from his estate. So I mean, I was like, I should have bought that car.
I should have.
And a buddy of mine that I sold a red 79 Turbo to. He's in the Porsche club here. I sold the car to him for like $25,000, I think, like 15 years ago, and he sold it for over 100. Last year.
It's like flipping houses.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you get to enjoy it and drive it and whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I think I should have never sold that, or I'd like to have it back or, whatever. But I don't get too attached.
Okay. It's not like your white whale or whatever you're looking for.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's probably there's some certain cars that if I ever did buy, I probably wouldn't ever get rid of because you couldn't replace them. But there's stuff out there that, you can replace if you get rid of it. There's always another one, or I've seen stuff. I've got one car right now, and I saw another one come up that had 3,000 miles on it. I've got a 91 Cyclone, a GMC Cyclone truck that they only made in 91. They made less than 3,000 of them, and this is the third one that I've owned. I've always liked them, so I'll pick one up here and there. Yeah, and I just buy it and keep it for 3 or 4 years or whatever. And my truck's got 31,000 original miles on it.
Yeah.
And I saw one for sale with 3. And I was like, I should sell mine and buy that one.
I don't know how could only drive 3. It's like, I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, is these people, I have conversations like this with a lot of people, and they don't really understand stuff like that. I'm like, this is like a totally different level.
Right.
Because people are like, oh, I'd never spend $1 million on a car. Right. I'm like, but the people that spend $1 million on cars have 5 houses. They have a yacht that costs $100 million.
Percentage-wise, probably.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't mean anything to them. It's just, $1 million. Okay, whatever. I'll buy 2 of them, But it's not somebody that, you're making $50,000 a year and you're like, oh, I could never spend $1 million on a car. These people are billionaires, and $1 million doesn't mean anything. And then the car they buy is going to be worth twice as much next year. So that's the thing, is that it's like art and rare cigars and wine. It's not really, when you get to that level, it ceases to be what it is, if that makes sense. It's no longer a car or a Picasso painting or a box of cigars. It's an investment. Mm-hmm. And you can't drink the wine, you can't smoke the cigars because your investment disappears. And a lot of these guys buy art, keep it in the crates that it comes in, and they sell it 5 years later. They don't even take it out. But and some of these people, like, let's say I've got a client that has about 30 cars, and he travels quite a bit, and he's only in the States probably 6 months out of the year. Mm-hmm. So if he's here for 6 months and he has 30 cars, he can literally drive a different car every day of the month that he's here, and each car gets driven 6 times a year. So how much mileage can you put on it doing that?
That's true.
And he's got a daily driver that he likes, and whatever. So there's just stuff that doesn't get driven. And I do the same thing. I mean, that Cyclone, I put more miles on that. I took it up to the Woodward Dream Cruise because that's something I always wanted to do. It's just a huge car get together up there, and you just literally cruise Woodward Avenue. But there was like 60,000 cars, and people bring cars from Japan to drive on Woodward Avenue. Like they'll import cars into the U.S. just for a week and drive Woodward and then go back home. And I put more miles on it in 2 days than I have in 3 years.
So this Woodward Avenue, I'm ignorant to the whole car thing. So is this like it's a famous, just famous street? I mean, it's not like somebody could recreate on Green River Road where you go cruising or something.
No, because I remember that I used to cruise Green River Road.
Everybody did, right?
Yeah, but they don't do it anymore. I'm like, what happened to that? And when I was really young, like in the 80, 81, 82, I was probably 9 years old, 9 years old. Yeah. And I remember people cruising First Avenue.
Right. Yeah.
Cause I was like, God, what are these guys doing? And it's, we had just opened, my family had Opus One Music, and it was 1980 or 81, I guess. And we were in North Park, and there was kids cruising through North Park and cruising First Avenue. I was like, what is going on? And that was the start of what everybody was doing. Then I cruise Green River Road, but they don't do it anymore. It's really weird. But yes, it's exactly like that. People bring, and it's a lot of American stuff. I mean, people, there was Lamborghinis there and guys in Rolls Royces and whatever, but it's a lot of American stuff. Roadrunners and Cudas. And see, that's the thing, is the weird part about Evansville, because people here, if they've got a new Hellcat, Challenger or Charger, and they've got, something like that, they're like, man, it's really a rare car. And up there, I mean, you literally could have thrown a dime and hit one. I mean, there was tons of them, but it's just the car culture, and there's a lot of money there, and whatever. And it's just, you got a Z06 Corvette. That's not like Evansville, where people are like, oh, I never see these. It's like, oh, okay, it's a Z06 Corvette,
So if I rolled up in my Toyota Sienna 2001, it'd be like, this is the rarest thing we've seen all week.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I never see that.
Where did you find this?
But there's people that do crazy stuff, though. I mean, like Mad Max. Like they'll build a Mad Max car to drive in Woodward.
Amazing.
Just to be crazy.
Anybody would playing the guitar, that dude playing the guitar on the front of it. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, but there's stuff. There's stuff. I mean, like the new Ford GT, the brand new Ford GT that's not being delivered yet. There was 2 of them.
Okay.
Driving. And it's just so people that have a lot of money or people with the manufacturers will bring this stuff out and just cruise, and you'll see everything. I mean, literally everything. It's crazy. There's
always stuff going on that I have no idea about.
Oh yeah. But I mean, 60,000 cars, a couple 100,000 people on Woodward Avenue for the weekend. And Woodward basically runs from downtown Detroit way out to the suburbs, and Michigan, or Detroit anyway, works like Eminem, the movie 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Well, that's an actual street. He lived on 8 Mile Road, and it's divided, by blocks or miles, and sections of the city are within these miles. So if you're at 8 Mile, it's kind of a rough neighborhood. If you're at 14, it's where all the money is. Okay. You know, it's Birmingham and Old Woodward and stuff like that. So it's different parts of the city. And like 1 and 2 Mile are literally right downtown by the Renaissance Center, you know, on the river. So it's pretty neat, but it's just an experience, and it's something I wanted to do. I've been up there for it before, and I was like, I want to drive this truck in the Woodward Dream Cruise.
Right,
and so I just took a couple of days and trailered it up and there you go. And you know, had fun. But there's all kind of car stuff like that. I mean, it's just all over the country. There's Hot August Nights out west that people go crazy over. Pebble Beach, you know, the huge concours that takes place, and there's stuff all over the country.
So like locally, is Frog Follies, is that the biggest thing we have around this area, or is it there's other bigger things? Because I just went to that for the first time, I think, ever.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I was stunned about how much stuff was there and how many people were there.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh my, they closed the gates.
Yeah, it took forever to get in and out of there. So I was just like, what is going on?
And people got put off by that too, because they're like, yeah, I'm waiting an hour to get in, and then I got to wait an hour to get out with traffic. Yeah, I would say Frog Follies, car related, is probably the biggest thing that happens. But there's a ton of other cool stuff. Yeah, it's like I said, I mean,
saw stuff pop up.
Cars and coffee, you know, come and just
I had no idea that existed.
Buy donuts and coffee from Donut Bank on Green River Road, hang out, look at cars, talk to people. It's just, you know, it's just car people getting together. And a lot of times they've got a ton of other stuff in common that you wouldn't really, you know, realize. But there's a lot of neat stuff that goes on. And there's stuff in, you know, St. Louis. And I mean, I'm into, you know, in contact with a lot of dealers. So I went last year, Bentley, you know, just released their new SUV. First SUV they've ever done, the Bentayga. So I got invited to the U.S. reveal for the Bentley Bentayga and drove one and, you know, whatnot. Yeah. So I go all over to do stuff, you know, go to Louisville, and there's a Mecum auction outside of Indianapolis, which is kind of neat to go to, you know, just for the experience. Yeah. Even if you're not trying to buy a car or whatever, but it's just kind of cool to see people throwing around, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just to see all the cool cars that are there, and, you know, the vendors, and it's like going to the 500, you know, I mean, there's just, or the Kentucky Derby, there's, besides the event, there's just sort of an atmosphere and a vibe to the whole city, and, you know, stuff that I think is kind of cool. I feel that way about Derby. I was like, there's just a feel that Louisville has during Derby week. Yeah. And it's just cool to go. And the Derby is just 3 minutes of the excitement. But I mean, just the whole, you know, vibe of the city, I think is just kind of cool to be at. But
yeah. Have you been to any Fast and Furious type races? Street racing? Illegal street racing? I
cannot comment on that.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Fair enough. We can talk
theoretically, I have.
We can talk maybe after
no, theoretically, yes, I have. People used to go out when you'd cruise Green River Road. You just go out in, basically it's houses now, but way out North Green River Road used to be nothing but cornfields. And I've been to a couple of those things in downtown St. Louis.
Oh, wow. So I wasn't even thinking about here. I was just thinking that it existed somewhere, but
under overpasses. Yeah. You know, you got the highway that is way overhead, like in the movies that you see sometimes, and that has happened in downtown St. Louis real late at night, before midnight, 1 o'clock.
A lot of sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I have been to those, and theoretically, I think the statute of limitations is probably up, but
you know,
participated in stuff like that.
They're not listening. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, nobody's. Well, it's me on here, so there's like 2 people that are gonna
So don't
listen to it.
You
and
can tell
they're gonna put me on topics. Did you hear that idiot?
Right, exactly.
Said? What a jerk.
Exactly. That's what we want, right?
Yeah. But we need to talk about ITV.
So
too.
there won't be, just to clarify, there won't be any illegal street racing at Doggiepalooza.
No, because there's going to be dogs, and there's going to be kids.
We're fine. So we're just
because I thought about like a burnout contest, which would be kind of neat, but I want to keep it legal.
Yeah, and not. You don't want to attract a certain.
Yeah, Billy Bolin and
yes,
the sheriff and you know Dave. I don't want to make anybody mad.
You don't make them mad. It'd be hard to face them.
None of that will be condoned
at the monthly cops and cars.
Yeah. Or coffee, what is it? Coffee with a cop. Yeah, coffee with a cop they have, and then
you don't want to do.
And then well, and you know, like I said, Mr. Corey is a police officer,
so
and he's the one that's done cars and coffee. So
so you don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot of cool stuff.
But
there's a lot of cool stuff. You go to races. I mean, you know, like I said, just if you're a car guy, there's a lot of different things, and it's not all. Well, some people like to go to the concours events. Porsche had their largest worldwide meet or get together in French Lick 2 years ago or last year, and so people came from all over the world, you know, for that for Porsche Parade is what they call it. But it was in French Lick, and I mean, there's, people went nuts from around here because they're like, ooh, I can drive 45 minutes and go to Parade, and normally it's in Sacramento or where they have it in a different city every year. But
normally the only reason to go there is see Larry Bird's.
That's right. He owned a Ford dealership. Since we're talking about cars, I'm just going to bring random information like that.
I like it.
Yeah, he did own a Ford dealership. But like I said,
ITV.
ITV, I do want to bring that up also. Because they do so much good, and this kind of goes back to your question is like why dogs and whatnot. And I used to do a lot of stuff with Vandenberg Humane Society and some other places in Kentucky. Sure, and when I met the people at ITV, I was just like, God, these are just really down to earth, normal, people that you'd see at the bank or the grocery store or whatever. And one of the things that I really liked about ITV is they're no kill.
Yep.
And I understand, how other places function and space and, whatnot. But ITV, they are a no-kill shelter except in cases of extreme illness or extreme aggression where the animals really can't be, rehabilitated or saved. Or if you try to save them, they're going to suffer, going to suffer more than they're enjoying their life.
Right.
But that kind of drew me to them. And, they will go to great expense and great lengths to save a dog with heartworm or parvo or whatever it might be if it gets hit by a car, and it causes them problems sometimes. I mean, just because it costs a lot to run. Like I said, I saw their report and what they spend on.
It takes.
They spend over $100,000 a year on vet bills.
Oh yeah, I just have 2 dogs and it's crazy. So I can't imagine having that many of them through there all the time.
And medication and food and just all that stuff. So sit down, Brando. Yeah, we're talking about dogs and my dog's sitting here acting crazy.
Like, you're talking about other dogs and not me, so
you gotta sit down. But yeah, I just so I was really attracted to the people, and I just like what they're doing, and I was like, I'm gonna start helping them. And,
they do a lot of fostering too, or is it?
Yeah, they do, and that's the thing because some people they're like, well, you can't just keep a dog, because they'll have some dogs for a couple of years before they get adopted,
right?
And they like to focus on unpopular animals, which are animals with 3 legs, no tails. Pit bulls, black dogs are really hard to adopt, and they like to focus on that, and they'll keep them until they save them. But it's not like these dogs are warehoused in kennels, stacked somewhere. They're with foster families. I mean, they do have some dogs at the shelter, but most of their dogs are with families. So they're actually in a home and have a bed and, and are loved and taken care of. And sometimes the foster families keep them, and sometimes somebody else comes.
I was always wondering about how that goes.
Like, so it's if they're around for 2 years, they're in a home. They're not sitting in a cage for 24 hours or 23 hours of their life. But they do a lot of good work, and it's just it's interesting to see what they have to go through. And like I said, they struggle monthly with they're like, oh, it's payroll. Oh, we got a $10,000 vet bill. Oh, we've got and so it's just, to me, it's important to help because they do good work. And I think, part of your other question is, I think as just decent human beings, and if you're into the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, it says that man has dominion over all living things, but it doesn't give us the reason or the opportunity to be cruel or to neglect, animals or let them suffer or, whatnot. So I think it's a positive thing. And I think it, makes the world better, makes society better, and our city and our neighborhoods and, whatnot. So it's kind of fun. I mean, just because you get to see so many different types of animals, and they've all got such different personalities, and, you go and to watch, to be at an event and see a dog get adopted and just this kid's face light up or their family, it makes, because animals are companions to people, and even people have rats as pets and pet pigs and, ducks and whatever, but they're companions. And I mean, a lot of times it gets somebody through the death of a family member or a spouse or a child or, whatever. And it's like like Brando, I mean, he's, every time I've ever come and done a podcast, basically I bring him with me. And, I spend more time with that dog than anybody else. I mean, I really do, unless I go out to dinner where he's, can't go.
Right. Yeah.
He sleeps in bed with me. He goes to my office with me. He goes to things like this with me. And he's literally around me probably 21 to 22 hours a day.
Sure.
Every day for 12 years.
Yeah.
and it's just, so, I mean, if you don't get attached to something that, to even though it's a dog, it's, if you don't get attached to it, something's not right with you.
Yeah.
So it's,
right, exactly.
But I just think it's important to try to help as much as you can, and not necessarily dogs or whatever. People have their own passions and whatnot. So, but dogs are just one of mine. And, we were talking about ITV, so they're always looking for, and they have a Facebook page. They have a website, which is itvrescue.org. And our event is on there, but they also have things like they have an Amazon wish list where you can buy, whatever that they need and actually have it just shipped directly to them. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to take it anywhere. You just have to buy it. And they have a little photo that I took at one of the events. They have a wish list, just office supplies. If you get a gift card to Office Depot or Staples or whatever, they always need staples and pens and paper and whatnot. Paper towels, toilet paper, just, towels. I mean, whenever towels go on sale, like at Walmart or whatever, I'll just go buy like 20 towels, bath towels, and they use them in the, in the kennels, or you can take toys, you can take treats, you can take kennels to them. They, they can use all that kind of stuff. But they just do such a good job, with a lot of different areas. But they are no kill. They are a 501c3.
Okay.
What else? I'm just going through. I just put a bunch of notes. They're on Stockwell Road, so they're right next to Stockwell Inn, which I'm going to tie all this together.
It's Evansville
Restaurant Week. They're a participating restaurant, Stockwell Inn.
There you go.
But yeah, they're on 1417 North Stockwell Road in Evansville.
Okay.
Their number, if you need this, is 812-909-1306. itvrescue@gmail.com, which incidentally is also their PayPal address. If you'd like to donate some money, everything is tax deductible. And they are open Tuesday 12 to 5, Wednesday 12 to 7, Thursday 12 to 5, Friday 12 to 5, and Saturday 12 to 5. But, basically what they have on their page, they're dedicated to doing what it takes to find loving homes for stray, abandoned, surrendered animals, and to keep these animals safe and free from further suffering. By working with committed volunteers, foster homes, veterinarians, animal control organizations, and trainers, we are able to rescue countless animals every year and provide them with loving temporary care as we work to find them well-matched forever homes. And that is one impressive thing. They adopt double digits every week. Yeah, and after 5 years, they actually got a grant from Pepsi, like $25,000 to start the rescue, and that's how it all began. And so they're in double digits weekly, for adopting animals out to homes.
Wow.
They say, although we do not discriminate based on breed, size, or color, we have particular interest in bully breeds, black dogs, and other hard-to-place dogs. True to our no-kill policy, all adoptable animals are given the time, love, and care needed to find their permanent home. We never euthanize for time or space, and only perform humane euthanasia in the event of extreme, untreatable illness or aggression. So that's just off their page, and I wanted to. We talk about. See, that's my thing. Cars is what I've been doing for so long. I just kind of start talking about it, and I definitely did not want to leave them.
No, I wanted to make sure we covered that. But yeah, there was good car talk too.
Yeah, but and one of the things I'm trying to do, which ties it all together too, cars. I do a lot of stuff with Sprinter vans. I kind of have a niche for Sprinter vans, which if you've ever seen, you do, American Pickers.
I did not ever.
No,
watch that
come
show.
on! Oh my gosh!
I don't have cable, man.
They drive Sprinter vans. It's just big. They're big, tall cargo vans that you can stand up inside of, and whatever.
I know what you're talking about.
So ITV has a van that's falling apart. Brakes are bad. Dies at stoplights. Whatnot.
Sounds great.
So I know it's really safe for the staff and the animals. But so what I'm trying to do is. I deal a lot in Sprinter vans. They're diesel. They're made by Mercedes-Benz. And, some of them are Dodge and Freightliners, but Mercedes owns, Daimler Chrysler and Freightliner back then. And so I want to get a Sprinter van for them because they're diesel. They run forever. They get great fuel economy. They're reliable. You can stand up in the back of them. So I'm going to get them. We're trying to raise some money for an air-conditioned cargo area Sprinter van. And one of the meetings, I took them some pictures, and I mean, you can put fresh water systems in them. You can put a refrigerator, a microwave, and stack kennels 3 high. So if they go to events, they do stuff at PetSmart, they do stuff at First Fridays, just wherever, they can have air conditioning, fresh water, food. If the dog needs to go and, take a rest, they can put it in the van, leave it running, because diesel's idling is not an issue like a car is. Okay. And so, that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is to get them a usable van to take. Gotcha. There's a vet in Lamar up by Santa Claus that they go to, and, weekly. So if they take 5, 6, 7 dogs, they've got plenty of space. They're comfortable. They're cold in the summer and warm in the winter, and and that's one of the things that I want to raise money for. I'm trying to raise about $10,000 through this just one day event. Okay. To help them get a new van, and just to help with their expenses, because like I said, their expenses, it costs about $20,000 a month to run the rescue. So it's not cheap, and and they work basically just on donations and grants and things like that. So they need all the help they can get, and even somebody donating $1, it adds up in the end.
Yeah, everything a little bit counts. But just to recap, it's to get in, you're asking for donations.
Yeah.
Just to cover that, like you said.
Right.
That's how you're raising the money.
It's a fundraiser. So the car show entry is going to be $20, and you're going to get an event T-shirt, and the first 100 cars will get a plaque, a dash plaque, which car show people know what that is. For all others, we have a donation request of $5 at the door for adults and $1 for children under 12. But basically, like I said, it's if you write us a check, it's tax deductible, or if you just want to give us cash, it's all very much appreciated. But yeah, so we're you don't have to donate $5 to come and whatnot.
But you want to, be a good human, and
why not
throw some cash at some dogs
instead of buying a drink at the gas station. Take your $5.
Hey, you may have just alienated a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, but we've got, there's going to be some vendors there, and we are still signing people up. So this is not a full list, but like I said, you can go to itv.org, itvrescue.org, or buxtonmotorsports.com, or both of our pages on Facebook, and see all this stuff.
You've got a Facebook event page specifically.
Yeah, there is an event for it. But yeah, like I said, It Takes a Village food trailer is going to be there. Lolly's Pops, the bands, DK Wells, Acacia, and the Amazing Soul Crackers are vendors right now, but there's going to be more. Cigar, Evansville Living Magazine, my dent guy, Hoosier Dent Man, paintless dent removal. A lady named Catherine Crabtree is going to sell LuLaRoe. Cynthia Brushfield is going to sell paparazzi accessories. And we've got a Cincy that's supposed to sign up, and we haven't gotten that in the mail yet. So you know who you are if you're out there. And you hear this before you send it in. Send in your form. And we've got some sponsors, Buxton Motorsports, obviously, since it's my shop, 500C North Congress Avenue. And we're right behind the mall, too. That's one thing we didn't talk about is, ITV is right on Stockwell, right off Morgan Avenue and Stockwell Road. And then I am basically behind Eastland Mall. Right. Behind Toys R Us and Eastland Mall, 500C North Congress, and we're right next to Cigar. So sponsors are Evansville Events, and Joe Notter and his dad Randy, who we do Evansville Restaurant Week with. We're getting a stage from them, Tucker Publishing and Evansville Living Magazine. My food page, Fingers, Fork, Knife, and Spoon by Brian Buxton. Full Throttle Sound Management is going to provide us with all the sound. Gretchen Irons and Channel 44, The Best Day Ever. She's actually going to MC. So if you want to throw tomatoes at her while she's MCing, come and
she'll be back from
heckle her. Yeah, she's going to be back from
her
Korea.
World tour by then.
And I keep making fun of her because I'm like, don't drink the water, don't eat it. Right. She did a video today that they were at a rest stop. Yeah, and it's the craziest thing over there. They have restaurants in the rest stop, and I was like, the rest stops that I go to, I would not eat anything in any of them. But she's going to MC, so she will be back from Korea, and hopefully she's of good health,
all rested up and ready to go.
Salsaritas, and actually we'll just talk about food.
They're not open yet, right?
I know when they're opening, though, but I can't tell you. All right. I'll tell you off camera or off mic. No, they're opening within the next 2 weeks. Okay. And it's the new place, the new Fresh Mexican Grill right off Morgan Avenue. And actually, I'm going to do a Facebook Live video from there Friday at 6:00 and kind of try some of the tacos and some of the neat stuff on their menu. But they are a sponsor of the event. I talked to the owner this morning, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we've got a rescue dog from ITV, and I'd love to be a sponsor." So Salsaritas Fresh Mexican, my insurance guy, Dean Webster, who is with Shepherd Insurance, and Uniseal is a sponsor. And there's going to be more. So I'm sorry to the people that sign up after today.
Check the Facebook page.
Yeah, check the Facebook page. Check the event page.
Event page. Everything's
post, whatnot. And dogs are welcome.
Yeah.
There's going to be dog watering stations. Like I said, some great music, some great food.
Thanks for coming in. It sounds like it's going to be a good time.
Yeah,
Doggiepalooza and dogs and cars. I mean,
dogs,
that is going to be
cars,
somebody out there's favorite thing,
beer,
ever,
food,
favorite combo ever, right there.
All of it.
Yeah, that's a day right there.
Dogs in cars.
Now we're talking with the people hands.
Yeah,
those pictures.
Yeah, you could do that.
There you go.
And hopefully this doesn't get cut out. But the Claire Ballard thing, I need to have your people call my people.
Oh boy, Claire, so I apologize.
And we're going to work this out. It's going to be great.
Don't hate me.
Well, and Gretchen didn't get mad at us the last time. I was kind of surprised.
We try harder next time on Gretchen. But
like I said, tomatoes.
Hey,
that could be a fundraiser too.
There you go.
We could have
tomatoes.
Heads of cabbage,
sure,
tomatoes, eggs. We could sell produce, and you can heckle Gretchen Irons.
That'd be great.
Sorry, Gretchen.
Sorry, don't hate me. That's not my idea either. Good job, everybody.